ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone in between and adjacent, welcome to the Rush Rundown, what I believe is the first and only 10-minute testing ripoff for Rush Duels. Today, we're going to take a look at one of Rush Duels' most popular beatdown decks, featuring everyone's second favorite Sheepy Idol. That's right, today we're taking a look at Miss Mutton.
Oh, Watame is the goat! Oh no! No! Watame is the sheep!
This is the part of the video where I tell you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. That's right, today we're going over Miss Mutton. Now, this deck was actually requested by a commenter. I do, read and like and favorite every comment that gets left on my videos. As well, I do take suggestions for future decks from those comments. So I just want to get that out of the way before we get started. Anyway, Miss Mutton. This is an interesting deck. I would call this deck a beatdown deck. I called it that at the top. That's kind of what it is. But I wouldn't call it an aggro deck. This is where it gets a little strange between beatdown and aggro. So the reason I call this beatdown rather than aggro is because this deck doesn't put up a consistent amount of aggression towards the opponent. We're not building a big board every turn to keep that kind of pressure up. We're instead going all out into one singular board, try and kill the opponent. It will make more sense when I go into the cards, but don't expect this deck to play at all like a deck like Dragias Turbo or Dino. First, we should start with our skill. Now, usually I put a little more focus on the skill, but this skill is kind of nothing. Doesn't really do a lot for Dawn. This skill can only be used if your deck contains 5 or more normal monsters with 1500 or more defense, and all of the level 4 or higher monsters have 1200 or more defense requirement. You have a face of level 6 or higher normal monster, 15 defense or higher. Effect: one face up normal monster in your field gains 600 attack until the end of this turn. Basically, if you have Miss Mutton or our other tribute monster on the field, a monster gains some attack. It's not great. We don't have any kind of good skill to use for the deck, so this is just the one most players have settled on. Because the skill is decent, but it's not a crazy broken. It's no Sidra skill. It's no Light Machine skill. It's no Metarion skill. Those are broken skills. This skill is just okay. And it's not made for this deck specifically. That's the problem. It's not made for this deck. It just synergizes. Anyway, our card by card. Our first card is 3. Woolly Wonderland Plan Wee. You have a face-up beast-type normal monster on your field. Set 1 Meat and Greed or Woolly Wonderland Graveyard Grudge from your graveyard to your spell and trap zone. If you have Princess of the Flock Miss Mutton face-up on your field, you can also gain 600 life points. Second part of the effect doesn't really matter. Usually we'll be using the effect to add Meat and Greed to our field and then tributing this guy off for Miss Mutton, so it's not very relevant. Second part. It might happen sometimes. We're playing 1 Silver Wolf. Most decks play 2 or 3 Silver Wolves. I actually cut 2 Silver Wolves out for more back row. More back row and also, so we could have 3 Paku-Pakuchu. Paku is... he just adds a card back. He just adds a beast type. If you have no other monsters in your field, place 1 beast type monster from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck. Add 1 beast type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. He just adds back, it can be any beast monster he adds back. You're probably adding back either Miss Mutton or a card to tribute. We're playing 3 Galactic Oblivion. Why are we doing that? Because he fulfills requirements for our skill and is just a general good monster. Just a good card. 3 Miss Mutton, very obvious. She's the core of our deck. Of course, we're going to play 3 of her. 3 Gazelle, King of the Mythical Beasts. He not only fulfills the requirement for our skill, he's also 1500 attack. Woolly Wonderland Ground Mutton. He fulfills the requirements for our skill. 3 Secret Order, one of the linchpins of the deck, and the reason why we play 3 Galactic Oblivion as our secondary tribute monster. Miss Mutton is also a level 7 normal monster. So we're playing Secret Order to summon out Miss Mutton or summon out Galactic Oblivion, give them the bonus stack to attack in. The reason why I say our beatdown isn't as consistent as an aggro strategy is because we are looking to go Secret Order, our Miss Mutton or our Galactic Oblivion, and just swing in for a lot of damage at once. The other card that enables that is the previously mentioned Greed. Then 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard. Choose 1 face-up beast-type normal monster in your field. This turn, that monster can make up to 3 attacks on monsters. If you have Princess of the Flock Miss Mutton face-up on your field, you can also make all face-up effect monsters in your opponent's field lose 500 attack until the end of this turn. This is the true combo. Secret Order, Summon Miss Mutton, Meat and Greed, Miss Mutton can attack 3 times. Hopefully the opponent's monsters are in attack. You just swing right over them. That is the play that makes me call this beatdown and aggro, because we can't just keep doing that. It's a 3-card combo that isn't crazy consistent. So we're pretty much just trying to stall out the game until we get that 3-card combo, which is why our spell trap lineup goes like this. We are on 1, Tribute to the Doomed. You could play Shield and Sword in this slot. I chose not to, because I don't think it's just that good for the format. In a future format where maybe we have a format where monsters have high attack and like no defense, maybe then you can play Shield and Sword in this slot to make Meet and Greet an even more guaranteed OTK. It's just not good right now. 2 of our archetypal MST. We are playing 1 Buffered Slime. We are playing Widespread Ruin because unfortunately Meet and Greet is limit 2, so we cannot play Negate Attack. And we are playing 1 Card Restoration. Card Restoration is quickly becoming one of my favorite cards in the game. Frankly, turning a draw 5 into a draw 6 actually changes a whole lot. We are also very monster heavy, so we find ourselves gaining an amount of life points to keep the game going longer so we can find our 3-card combo. I tried to keep this shorter than my previous card by cards. Let me know if you want the card by cards to be longer, where I go way more in depth with each card. I'm just trying to, get you viewers in and out of here as soon as possible so you can go try the deck for yourself. With that little spiel out of the way, why don't we check out some games? All right, we have our first game, and I want to be honest here. I was kind of iffy about if I should use this game or not. I was very early testing the deck, but I feel like we did a pretty good job of showing how kind of like beatdown loop goes. I do misplay like a whole bunch in this recording, so I'm just kind of gonna, maybe not acknowledge that or try to correct myself as we see it. And now you'll also see we're against Cyber Dragon here. So but you didn't really see a lot of Sidra when I was getting duels for this video. So I was like, okay, well, I had that one good Cyber Dragon game, but I decided to use it here as our first game. Anyway, normal things, we just set our entire hand as much as we could without going into Miss Mutton. I kind of figured, listen, going just into Miss Mutton set on field is really bad into decks like Sidra and Metarion. It's even bad into Hero, honestly. Depending. So I just went ahead and just set everything. I didn't tribute summon Miss Mutton. And you can see we opened both Secret Orders, which is kind of awkward. But it's just really going to show how we can do our loop. They have no back row, so we're just going to go ahead and bring out Miss Mutton, go Servant of the Dawn, boost it up, and just, go beatdown mode. Our last guy is a 1500 defense guy, so we kind of set him. Yeah, we go ahead, Miss Mutton, go ahead with Gazelle, swing in, get some damage. We're just getting consistent damage. This is another reason why we go, and not really an aggro deck. We're not playing on the advantage. We're playing, in sort of reaction to the opponent's field, but we're just trying to clear the field and get as much damage in, but it's not like a large amount of damage as we're just wiping the board. An aggro deck like Ragios tries to put its pressure through high attack monsters. Like, you can see our field, our board's not very impressive. Like, yeah, we get 1500 guys and our 2 tribute monster, right? But a deck like Dragios would end on a bunch of 2500 guys that are big threats that must be answered immediately. Miss Mutton herself is just a normal monster. She doesn't do anything, and they aren't at risk if they leave her on field. We need to see the Meet and Greet to even do anything. Anyway, so they missequenced and they attacked into our set Woolly Wonderland. We go ahead, draw Tribute to the Doom, pop the biggest threat on their board, which is the Cyber Search, Secret Order, bring back the Miss, summon Gazelle, and hey, have you seen this before? This is the same exact play we did last turn, except we have 2 additional back row. Fast forward, see you get a little more interesting part. And this is where business picks up. We draw Miss Mutton for turn, we draw Meet and Greet. The opponent completely whiffed on their turn. They didn't draw anything special. We also drew another Secret Order. We summon out the Galactic Oblivion. We pump up the Mist button that has the meet and greet on it. I mean, that doesn't have the meet and greet on it, I'm sorry. Because we were looking to go in for lethal. So this one Mist button clears everything, but the slime the opponent has saves them. We kind of just go, I can't believe it, and we attack him directly even though it doesn't do anything. But we set Slime and Ruin ourselves, which is pretty decent in this position. We haven't seen Ancient Gear Golem yet, so we could be rough out if they do find it. But it doesn't seem like the opponent has it, as they just start eating away at our board. They go ahead, Cyber Entry, we run the Cyber Dragon, so we don't have to worry about Ancient Gear Golem if they do have it. And there he is, the Ancient Gear Golem. They cannot attack, so he just kind of sits there in the field, and we're just going to go ahead and wrap this game up. We go ahead and use Silverwolf to reduce attack, tribute summon a Miss Mutton, Servant of the Dawn, pump someone over, go ahead, 3100 over the Ancient Gear Golem, and 25 for game. With or without the Silverwolf, that would have been lethal, but that's just a little extra for us. Anyway, it was just a really solid game, and let's see what else we have in game 2. Alright, moving on to our second game, and we have drawn a pretty suboptimal hand. Hopefully the 5th card can save us. Go ahead and draw, and it's a tribute material. So we're going to go ahead and do a similar play as the previous game, except we're actually going to do tribute set the Galactic Oblivion. Usually you don't want to do this, but I was feeling pretty safe about this. I just had a feeling that the opponent wasn't playing Cyber Dragon, so he wouldn't get punished for this. And I was right. As you can see, they summoned warrior monsters, which shows off they are playing hero. They go ahead and MST our Secret Order and MST our Meet and Greet. You do not like to see that. Unfortunately, I did have to set that Secret Order, so we are one out. We can't do anything to replace that. The opponent makes a big misplay here, attacking him with. They did see us tribute 2 monsters to summon this. I don't know why you would attack it. I mean, I guess if you just want to reveal it at the cost of life points, I don't think it's really worth it. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and we put our guys in the attack position here, right? So we can do the Woolly Wonderland Plan Wii to get our Meet and Greet back, just to kind of get it early. And then we go in and swing over hero there. We could have done a swing over Burstentrix, but I didn't really want to play into a star restart. Honestly, leaving her up or in the grave wouldn't have really changed much, honestly. But we just went ahead and did that. Now, another reason I did the play here, where I left my monsters in attack position, is because I want the opponent to play into our set card restoration. I want them to be a little more aggressive in case they didn't draw any card that let them get over our Galactic Oblivion. As you can see, they had Tantalum, they have another Burstentrix. They're just going to go ahead, pump up Tantalum, swing in over Galactic Oblivion, we card Restoration, we draw 4, gain 600 life points. Now we're going to be drawing a 5th card for turn. We are taking a decent amount of damage because all our monsters can die. We have a damn fine hand for next turn. Go ahead and draw for turn. It is MST, Secret Order out, our Miss Mutton. We go ahead and Meet and Greet, pitching our 2 cards, and the opponent apparently had no relevant back row as they scooped immediately. Granted, we don't know what would have happened there. I was pretty confident that we to have lethal there. Solid, quick game. Let's check out the left. Now for the all-important game 3, which is not a 1v1 versus the meta. As you saw previously, Cyber Dragon was in fact our first game. Here, I went ahead and that was a really good game to feature here. Our opponent is on Dark Magician, and as you can see from their deck size that it's a little bloated. But I've been a big fan of the Dark Magician deck in general for Rush, which is why I just want to feature. Now, this is where the opponent is on things that I wouldn't be playing, where they are on Mystic Dealer and the normals. I don't play any of those in my Dark Magician deck. You can see our hand is actually pretty mid. We have to summon Silverwolf and Secret Order out a Galactic Oblivion. And even then, we have one Galactic Oblivion kind of just like stuck in hand. We just go Servant of the Dawn, just going to say, okay, listen, if we can get damage here, we can get damage here, because they only set one monster. Back in Silver Wolf, it's a set Dark Magician Girl. Should have realized they did something when they tribute summoned, but whatever. Seeing the deck size and then the cards engraved, I wasn't really that scared. The Magician Shuffle, though, it does scare me, because this is where in my deck I would do exactly this. I would then Secret Order back the Dark Magician and then just blast away the opponent. They're going to go ahead and Star Restart, bringing back their Flare Sorcerer to then tribute it for Dark Magician Girl. So either way, they do get a 2500 on field, but they are weak to Widespread Ruin. Thankfully, they did not see Secret Order and did not have any kind of protection. Now we go ahead and draw for turn, and we do get to keep our Silverwood, which is pretty nice to have a tribute fodder for the Galactic Oblivion that's kind of been stuck in our hand, or if any Miss Muttons showed up. So we go ahead and tribute summon the Galactic Oblivion, set our 1500 Defender, set card Restoration, my favorite card, punch in for 3100, and now we are very well set up for our next turn. The opponent is drawing a decent number of cards, but we are pretty much guaranteed for a draw 6 from this turn. Go ahead, let the opponent draw. Their graveyard is pretty well set up if they saw a Secret Order, but it seems they whiffed on the draw, so our card Restoration is just kind of going to sit there, and now we're not going to be able to empty out our hand. We're going to go ahead and Rage of the Beast, MST. They are playing Curtain of Sparks, a pretty interesting card. I wouldn't personally be playing it myself. We just tribute again to the other Galactic Oblivion, because we don't want to commit Miss Mutton forward, because we'd be kind of at risk of losing her, even though we do have Secret Order. We also see now that the opponent is on Mr. Alchemy, so they are legitimately trying to summon the Strange Cat Fusion monster. I'm not going to show their deck list here, but it is in there. They go ahead, Secret Order, Dark Magic attack our back row. This is a huge loss for us, so we lose a Secret Order. Hate to see it. They go ahead, and now they also reveal they are also on the 7th Row Magician Fusion. As well, they are also on the Dark Sword Magician. They are just playing pretty much every card you possibly could that is big and a spellcaster. Alright, so we are a little bit on the back foot, but our opponent is only 900 life points. They are pretty much dead to exactly this. We go ahead, summon Miss Mutton, we go Meet and Greed, Servant of Dawn, pump her up even higher, and go Miss Mutton over the Dark Sword Magician for a game. Now, I don't think we were ever at risk of losing that game, but as long as it shows off what the deck can do, I am very happy with the game. So we're back with the deck, and hey, look pretty good. But let's go over the pros and cons. First, the cons. There's no good skill to play with this deck. Yeah, Servant of Dawn's decent for putting our attack over to swing over monsters, but to be honest, it doesn't do enough for our deck. That leads into the second con, which is our deck is very inconsistent. Decks get skills like the hero skill that just adds fusion, lowers an attack, and does all those other crazy things. Cyber Dragon can search fusion, can search proto, and gain attack. It's crazy. Those are crazy. They have all these consistency skills, and we have pretty much nothing. As well, we are kind of fishing for a 3-card combo. I said at the top, that's fine, but it's not great. Other cons. We are kind of constrained in our deck building. The only good skill we've pretty much found in testing is Servant of Dawn, and that restricts us from playing pretty much any legend monster. As well, it prevents us from playing cards like Essel, other generics like Torero, like All-Seeing Harvey. We're just locked out of all those other tech options. But the pros. Meet and Greed is a very powerful card. And the 3-card combo of Meet and Greed, Secret Order, and Miss Mutton is devastating. A protected Miss Mutton swinging over the opponent's entire field. And if those monsters are in attack, they are taking massive damage. As well, we don't have the consistency behind our card. If the parts of our combo are already present, we have a lot of ways of recurring them that are pretty good. Woolly Wonderland Planweed, excellent card. Paku Pakuchu, another excellent card. The deck works really well with card restoration. I would even consider playing more card restorations if we had a good cut anywhere else. Honestly, when it's all said and done, the deck is actually pretty good. If you want to climb to KOG with Miss Mutton, nothing's gonna stop you. Anyway, that's it video. Thank you for watching once again. Goodbye.